This is really interesting. A lot of people are going to be talking about it, and it's an important topic. Jenny Craig, Nutrisystem, Slim Fast, Weight Watchers, you know, these types of programs that have been around for years and years, right? But now, thanks to the digital age, people are turning to app versions of these kinds of programs to help them lose some weight. Weight Watchers, WW as it's called now, recently launched a weight loss app for kids called Kurbo by WW. Now, we're talking about aiming this to children ages 8 to 17, using a traffic light system to help kids get into the habit of healthier eating. In a society, though, where body image is everything and kids are inundated with so many unrealistic expectations, many are calling for this app to be pulled altogether, saying it could really have a negative impact on children mentally and emotionally for years to come. So let's bring in an expert this morning with a fantastic perspective on this. Dina Larson-Gaisley is with Ophelia's Place. She has checked out this app and has very strong reactions to it. So first off, let's tell us about Ophelia's Place so that we have an understanding of where you're coming from.
Yes, Ophelia's Place is a nonprofit organization based out of Liverpool, New York, and we also have a site here in Gilbert, Arizona, and we provide support and service around disordered eating, eating disorders, and body dissatisfaction, as well as education specific to those matters.
Okay, so you have taken a look at this app. You know the market it's targeting. What problems do you see with this right away?
Well, as a mom, I'm a mom of 4 and an educator. I could list a number of problems that are specific to the app. Personally, I can speak to being that little girl at age 10 who walked into my first organized weight loss group, being Weight Watchers, and the detrimental effect that had on me for many, many years. As a root of that programming that is so normalized in our society around diet culture and the message that we are not enough just as we are, for those seeds to be planted at such a young age, for me that spiraled directly into 30 years in my eating disorder, specifically binge eating disorder, anorexia, and bulimia. And so I can speak personally to the change that happens anytime the brain is subject to a program of restriction, which this app is promoting. Anytime the brain is subject to that, there is chemical change. And so if we're in the adult brain, so what are we doing to these young developing brains when we are teaching them to list foods as either good or bad, or to avoid foods altogether? So, and every time we do that, every time we participate in restriction, cleansing, detoxifying, we are increasing our chance of being engaged in a full-blown eating disorder. And what's important to understand is, yes, this is body image. Yes, this affects our quality of life. This affects our relationship with our body, with food, with exercise, with each other relationally. But most importantly, eating disorders have the highest mortality rate than any other mental illness. And when we're speaking about our young people, for teenage girls and young women from the ages of 15 to 22, anorexia nervosa specifically takes more lives than all other forms of death combined.
Well, I've spoken to other experts like you who have been through this themselves and are so passionate about helping people, and they say that it's so challenging when you talk about moving through it and moving past it. It's not like drugs or alcohol where you can say, I'm going to plan to never touch this again and I'm going to reframe my life without this. We need food to live. It is our fuel. It is part of our lives. It's part of our social experience, but it's also necessary for our well-being. So the challenges are so much more complex that to confuse it at this early stage is really harmful.
Absolutely. And because the diet culture is so normalized in our society and disordered body image, that is so normal. As men, as women, when we get together, the first thing we're going to talk about is what program we're on, what diet we're on, how much have we gained, and what we have at Ophelia's Place is the hope that there is room for change in this. And so that's why we provide support. We provide support in New York, in Gilbert, Arizona, and online. But more importantly, we are providing the education so that every person who has interest in being sick and tired of having to live under this constant pressure of not being good enough, we're providing the education and programs of education so that we can provide any person with the tools and the language to take that moment of pause and think, I don't have to live under this oppression of having to be less or more than I am. But it has to start for us. Before we can ask our kids to change, we have to make that commitment to change.
Well, Dina, your passion really resonates, and it's really so important. So thank you so much for sharing your perspective. We'll have the information to contact Ophelia's Place and some of the resources that you guys are able to provide on AZ Family. And thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
You would not recommend that our moms and dads out there watching add this app to the
Please,
to the iPad.
please do not. Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you so much.